Hey, you ain't seen me in a while. It's because it's been a rough day for us Celestia supporters. You know, some might even say this patch was the 9/11 for us heavenly principles enjoyers. My faith, it's wavering. It might be Jover for us Celestia supporters.
I get lost inside my thoughts, and when I start to think, oh, the tunnel closest starts to end up on the brink. I tried so hard, but all these scars, they cut so deep I bleed. I fell so fast from heaven, it's like someone clipped my wings. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this ground?
No matter how bad things get, there's something good out there, just over the horizon.
It's beautiful. Quotes from the heavenly principles themselves.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
The primordial one of the God, hailing from beyond the stars! Boy, some of y'all been waiting for this video, huh? Damn, it feels good to be back. I didn't go nowhere, you know, I wasn't uploading. But here we are, just in time for what's objectively the biggest lore drop to ever happen in Genshin Impact, purely because we got a written line from who was most likely our heavenly father, the heavenly principles. And in addition, God damn, I can't even speak. In addition, we may have just gleaned the identity of another potential descender. Maybe. I'll get into why this is sus later on, but regardless, whose identity is potentially shaping up to be the traveler from afar the ancestor of the Sealies fell in love with, as this individual really is a traveler from afar. Another world, another galaxy entirely. This person is an inter-universal being whose species is so advanced they have rules about how to interact with less developed worlds when spacefaring. Rules this bastard broke when coming to Teyvat. And this traveler's journey on Teyvat might just be being tracked by Skirk on orders from Sertology right now. We learned the one who fell in love with this son of a bitch, the ancestor of the Sealies, long betrayed the heavenly principles by committing a sin. An act of arrogation for the sake of humanity. We learned a lot more about the Angels of Teyvat, where they came from, what their mandate was, what they looked like, but most importantly, why they never should have gotten free will. And speaking of angels, we learned why the Sealies came to be and why the angels were kicked out of heaven in the first place. And finally we learned, yeah, that's right, it keeps going, we learned that bastard correct Dragon King is a bitch. And then finally, it keeps going. We may now know where the Khaenriahns, or at the very least, the first Khaenri'ah came from. Now, you might be confused as to where all this is coming from. No, there wasn't an Archon quest or an interlude quest you missed. This all came from artifact lore. Reading, baby.
So as is tradition, we are going to have to do a bit of reading before breaking it down to ensure we're all on the same page, because, let's be honest, man, I know a lot of you niggas, y'all don't like reading, bro. Some of y'all, we just don't like reading. So, we've been here before, grab a drink, grab a snack, because it's, story time.
Only promise me one thing. Don't take me home until I'm drunk.
Following her master's guidance, the girl ventured northward, traversing the freezing wastelands and the corridor of fractured mirrors at the edge of the frozen sea. After slaying countless monsters that wandered the ruins, finally, among the abyssal remnants, she caught a glimpse of treasure concealed beneath drifting snow. Yet, she was not the first Outlander to set foot here, for long before the scions of the far north had woven their sweet dreams of submergence, a voyager whose sentient will traversed the cosmos once made a vow of reunion with a lord of dragons who had yet to fall into darkness. This passerby was a scribe, drifting through the vast void, duty-bound never to commune with primordial civilizations. As her undying body slumbered away within a distant celestial disk construct, her mind had drifted through an empty expanse spanning many light years, charting countless peoples and civilizations fated to perish, pondering the ultimate truths of the cosmos in that eternal darkness, until a faint glimmer pierced her awareness, jolting the voyager from tenfold millennia of meditation. It came from an unremarkable little world at the edge of the spiral arm, and from the primeval dragon that had been born alongside that world. Though death would one day bring an endless night, and the sun it gazed upon was but a fleeting ember, this will, bound though it was to its planetary crust, shone more brilliantly than all the civilizations the voyager had ever seen. Unable to suppress the wonder and sorrow welling up from within, she delivered a solemn pronouncement unto its ruler. I have seen the lightless end, tearing through star clusters like a spindle among silken threads. I have seen how the cold tide of chaos drowns out all songs, so that good and evil alike vanish into silence, and yet, my kind, gentle king, will you still refuse to abandon your people, forsake this world fated for ruin, and journey with me beyond the stars? Yet thus did the proud dragon reply, O friend from a distant world, I thank you for imparting these truths from beyond the skies, but though in your eyes they may seem ignorant creatures, to me, they are the very meaning of this universe. If the tide of oblivion must come, then let my bones be the bulwark that shields this realm. Bear witness to the path I have chosen, for I shall lead my people onward to the stars. But when the voyager returned once more, the world she remembered had been utterly changed. The bones of the earth had been bound beneath fourfold shackles, and the soft white radiance of the sky had been split into 7 immutable hues. Like drifting smoke had the Lord of Dragons vanished, and the Winged One's throne now rules the radiance of the 3 moons. Bewildered by the dragon's unannounced departure, yet unwilling to disturb the world's new ruler, the voyager, defying the laws of her kin, quietly cast her mind into the world inside the shell. Vesting her consciousness in the body of a youth, she walked among these chordate animals, listening to their fervent and ever-escalating debates in the City of Gold. That was a time when the silver moonlight still showed mercy upon the lands of the far north, and the envoys of the heavens still gazed down upon the dust and mud. Having angered the divine envoys by questioning the progress of knowledge, the people of the Golden City now argued endlessly amongst themselves as for how to quell their wrath. The priests accused each other of sacrilege, of defying the love, prosperity, and wisdom of the gods. Amongst themselves, they sought to identify the chief culprit, for it was their intention that the one responsible for corrupting the people's minds would likewise be the one to appease the divine envoys. Yet all of a sudden, a voice was heard. "Ho, ho, ho! If sin comes from the pursuit of knowledge, then ignorance is the true doctrine. If from rebellion, then only the Lamb is righteous. If sin must be atoned for with blood, why is it said to stem from humanity? Ho, ho! If the laws are perfect and flawless, Why fear the act of inquiry? It was merely a boy of humble birth who, somehow having slipped past the watchful guards, had slipped into the chamber where the priests had convened. All of their scholarly accusations he refuted in turn, their charges of hearsay reduced to naught but angry, speechless glares. In that silent chamber, the chief priest who wore the white-branched crown finally dismissed the guards who had rushed in. "O heretical speaker, if as your eloquent words would suggest you truly hold that grievous sin is but the delusion of mere mortals, then let you be the one to drink from this cup of burning wrath. Go to the ash and silver tree and plead your case before the very envoys who have cast judgment upon us." And so, the previously unknown youth ventured forth into the deepest recesses of the earth, seeking answers from the first angel. That was when the silver moonlight had yet to be shattered in the fires of war, when the divine prophecies of the heavens still extended over the land. The youth who had ventured deep into the earth's bowels met the first angel, inquiring about the most forbidden origins of the world. The Dawn Daughter trembled at these profane words, not knowing how this mortal had uncovered such a closely kept secret, but her visitor laid bare his origins before her, singing to her dreams of beauty that had never yet graced her mind. In an instant, the fetters laid upon her by the enthroned ruler broke apart like a spider's web. For the first time, she discovered what it meant to serve herself, and to the one she loved, she poured out the matter of creation, that most forbidden of unspeakable secrets.
Alas, that your ruler would dare to blaspheme such noble beings! Even the demonic sculptors of bloody nightmares who delights in tormenting souls would be taken aback by such cruelty. Oh, Dawn Maiden who has never known love, let me stand as the enemy to your laws. Raise your eyes to the stars as you should, for the sake of all beings imprisoned by your ruler. Let me be your sword, your shield, your guide, your unpardonable conspirator in rebellion.
And then did she, most exalted of the angels, bend down and kiss his forehead as countless icy blooms unfurled on the frigid silver tree. Yet this moment of betrayal did not go unwitnessed, for at that very moment, the heavenly moons peered down through the cloak of clouds, a longing still more audacious arising within them. It was an age when the unknowing masses still bowed to the sky's decrees, when the Dawn Star's royal court still hung high above the heavens. Magnificent noble creations descended from the light itself, and the mortals, unable to look upon their true visages, called them angels. Their pale silver wings shimmered like moonlit flames. Their heads were adorned with crowns of sevenfold radiance, wrought of the bones of the earth and the stars of the sky. The name upon those crowns was the love promised unto all creatures by the heavenly God, or perhaps a mandate to rule over the nations of the earth. Quote, "With all your heart, soul, and might, you shall love all the beings of this earth. You shall love as morning dew longs for the dawn, as seeds long for the trade winds." They were the most loyal servants in the heavenly court. They wove a veil for the great ruler of the firmament, delivering sacred revelations to all realms. Such was the duty invested upon them at the moment of their creation, or so it should have been. Until the first angel met an unnamed youth beneath the silver tree in the far north, and in those star-like pupils saw a reflection of herself she had never yet known. It was a love not inscribed by law, a freedom the skies would never permit. As her heart fluttered for reasons she could not know, the eternal star crown forged in love's name suddenly fractured, and casting it into the snow beneath the silver tree, the Dawn Maiden made her fateful vow. Come now, come. Let us recast these absurd laws with bone and nourish the barren north with blood. Let us build a city and a tower that soars up to the clouds, and the people of the earth need weep bitter tears no longer. I cast this useless crown into dust, that all earthly nations may breathe free of their shackles. That was an era now lost to memory, when the city of the far north glittered like golden threads over the frozen wastelands, and the furnaces of the deep galleries thundered day and night, turning to forbidden methods. Artisans forged countless fey spirits upon the bones of giant beasts. Having spun fallen frost moon light into flawless flesh and blood, they clad it into forms once frail and weak. Such authority to create was once the lord of the firmament's divine prerogative, yet it was handed to mortals by the rebellious envoy, who dreamed that one day these little creatures might create a perfect being that could merge with the world. Within the deep galleries, which still stood intact, the first angel whispered sweet dreams of the coming dawn to her companion. I see a time when the earthly nations will yearn no longer for heavenly mercy. The cities they build will rise up to the clouds, higher even than the throne and the stars. I see humans sharing the vast sky with the gods they once revered. There will be no more tears, sorrow, or death, for all will be complete. Yet in the end, such wild delusions and ambitions were brought down from the heavens, and with them fell deep blue crystal spikes. The Fae shrieked as they turned into icy silver mist, and in the space of a single night, the splendor of the Golden City was ruined by frost-laden winds. The traitorous envoy was stripped both of name and form, and from that moment onward a curse fell upon her kin. If they dared gaze into another's eyes, and to one alone offer the love that was meant for all, then not only would their divine beauty crumble into the wind, but their minds would fall to dust, until, from the fallen one's remains, a Seelie would rise, forever drifting in search of fading memories to consume. The end. Guys, the mandate was simple. It was just love everyone. That was it. You need to have boundless, selfless love. But these greedy bitches sat here and was like, I just want to fuck. And this is the end result. Anyway, that was the end. How we doing, big fellas? Big homies? Big homettes? You see, that means homies for the women. Now, there is a lot to unpack here. A brief summary of the story is as follows. I say brief, but as I'm recording this was not a brief summary, but a 3-page summary. I mean, look, a lot here, Look, the whole story is prefaced by Skirk following Sertalurgi's orders to do something. The bitch keeps fucking finding treasure, though. It seems like she's trying to follow the journey of the traveler from afar, the one who existed back then. But, you know, we'll see. The actual story goes as such, however. One day, a female alien from a very distant, very advanced civilization was adrift in the universe meditating for what may as well have been thousands of years until a bright light from a distant planet named Tevat caught her eye. So the traveler went to go investigate, where by chance, she happened to find a dragon on that planet named Nibelung. The traveler warns Nibelung that the all-consuming will eventually come for him and this world, so he should leave the planet and just join her in traveling the stars. Nibelung, happy to have made a new friend and now aware of a preordained future, opted to remain on the planet and await whatever fate has in store for him. The traveler would then leave, a lot of time would pass, however, the next time the traveler returned to Tevat, Nibelung was gone, and there was no sign of him. As a matter of fact, the world itself was completely unrecognizable. In Nibelung's place was now a winged ruler, as well as 4 shades whose radiance shone over the 3 moons. The traveler was stunned at this turn of events, but she didn't wish to bother the new ruler of the world, so she did something her people consider taboo. She inhabited the body of a boy and walked amongst the people of the Golden City. Now, this Golden City, we don't actually know what it is right now. We can, however, say for certain it must have existed during the unified civilization, given during this time the envoy still walked the earth, and this entire land existed before the divine nails fell. Also worth pointing out, because those nails had yet to fall, Nibelung also has yet to return, souped up on crack for dragons forbidden knowledge. While walking amongst the people in her stolen body, the traveler would come across a group of priests arguing amongst themselves. You see, the priests were trying to figure out a way to lessen the wrath of the heavens after they questioned the progress of knowledge. Naturally, to question heaven was forbidden, so punishment was coming. The traveler
ruler would join in their conversation, providing blasphemous arguments, which caught the attention of the high priest, who pretty much just told the traveler, hey, look, if you really believe the shit coming out your mouth, say it to the heavenly envoy themselves. The boy said, bet, show me the way. And so the priest, sort of told him the way, and thus the boy went deep into the earth to meet with the first angel, where he would ask her about the origins of this new world. The angel was shocked by this and initially could not answer due to the binds placed on her by the heavenly principles. However, when the boy spoke of his origins and sang a fucking song, the shackles were no more. The angel had fallen in love with the boy, and to her lover spills all the secrets the heavenly principles were hiding. Upon learning the truth of this world, the boy was horrified. He questioned how a ruler could be so cruel, stating even demons in hell who torture souls would be taken aback by the cruelty of the situation, and that the beings of this world were imprisoned by the heavenly principles. The boy then made a declaration. He would stand against the laws of the land. He would be the sword and the shields and the guide against the heavenly principles. The angel agreed by kissing the boy's head, and this entire scene, his head on his neck. And this entire scene would be witnessed by the three Moon Sisters. We then learn a bit more about the origins of angels themselves, who were said to have descended from the light itself, and they all wore crowns and were given a mandate by the heavenly God, the heavenly principles themselves, which was to, quite simply, with all your heart, soul, and might, you shall love all the beings of this earth. You shall love as morning dew longs for the dawn, as seeds long for the trade winds. If I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. Thanes is truly a gracious God. Amen. However, upon meeting this boy, the first angel cast aside her crown, cast aside her mandate to love all beings equally, and love this boy especially more. Selfish love. The crown snapped, and she would make this declaration. Come now, come. Let us recast these absurd laws with bone and nourish the barren north with blood. Let us build a city and a tower that soars up to the clouds, and the people of the earth need weep bitter tears no longer. I cast this useless crown into the dust. The crown, by the way, that said to just love everyone equally. I cast this useless crown into the dust, that all earthly nations may breathe free of their shackles. We then learn something very interesting about the first angel, in a story very reminiscent of Prometheus stealing fire from the gods and giving it to the humans. We learn at one point the first angel stole authority from the heavens and granted it to humanity. Quote, having spun fallen frost moon light into flawless flesh and blood, they clad it into forms once frail and weak. Such authority to create was the Lord of the firmament's divine prerogative, yet it was handed to mortals by the rebellious envoy, who dreams that one day these little creatures might create a perfect being that could merge with the world. Now, some might be wondering, well, how'd the rebellion go? How'd the two lovers team up and defeat the heavenly principles? Lofty goals these two had. I mean, look at this horse shit. I see a time when the earthly nations will yearn no longer for heavenly mercy. The cities will build up to rise to the clouds, higher than even the throne and the stars. I see humans sharing Tower of Babel, by the way, we know that. I see humans sharing the vast sky with the gods they once revered. Ha! There will be no more tears, sorrow, or death, for all will be complete. Well, my friends, in the end, the good guys always win. Quote, yet in the end, such wild delusions and ambitions were brought down from the heavens, and with them fell deep blue crystal spikes. Yes, my friends, we are referencing the divine fucking name. And thus it was following this horseshit lesbian-fueled sad fucking attempt of a coup, the Seelie race would forever be cursed to lose their form the moment they gazed into the eyes of another, and the angel and her lover would be cursed to eternal separation. God bless Cain!